Call from Ray. An offender at the Potosi Correctional Center. This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press 2. If you would like to, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now. What's up, DT?
What's good, big dog? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. Yeah, I said, let me hit you right back. And, so we can go and do this. Like, you ain't answer when I just called. I said, maybe you trying to hook the speaker up or something.
Hell yeah, you know I was. This shit working good now, though. I'm good now.
Yeah, I said, let me give him a few minutes. I just told myself, I said, I'm gonna keep blowing them up back to back to back to back, so we can go get this shit out the way, and cause we keep missing each other every day.
Facts. All right, man. So shit, how you been since the last interview, man?
Man, I've been taking one day at a time, man. I've been good, man. I'm, a lot of things got me good for me, man. It's a slow process, but it's getting a lot better Sunday.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right, man. Let me ask you this, man. What do the people need to rethink, man, after hearing your story?
No, see, I don't even really know what the people thinking, because I ain't seen none of the comments. I ain't even really been keeping up or inquiring about the comments.
Right. If you was given another chance to redo life, do you think you would do certain things different?
Yeah, I would do a whole lot of things different. One after experience in this shit, like I said in one interview we did previously, ain't nothing worth this shit here. DP, this shit here, man, this ain't nothing worth this. Giving us that for this? Hell no. I told you I'd rather sleep up under a bridge in a cardboard box than to have to experience this shit again.
Right. Okay. Does being in prison, man, make you feel like you behind in life?
Because I stay connected to the streets, man. I'm in contact daily with people in society. I'm not out there, but I still stay connected and what's going on in the streets of St. Louis and, partially in general through society all over, because, they're told with the news and things like that. So I'm pretty much connected in the streets.
Okay. So this is something that a lot of people wanted to know, man. Do you ever feel like one day you might get out of there?
No, I don't even. I'm about 100% sure. That's how confident I am that I never see the streets again. And even if it's nothing, the laws can change. Even if the laws in Missouri have changed, making certain people eligible for parole consideration, making it eligible for people who done served a certain amount of time, which is the bill they're trying to push through right now, to making certain people qualify for parole consideration once they reach a certain age limit, despite they sentence. But even if that was the change in Missouri, I still have all this time in Illinois. So in Missouri, kind of did away with my sins in Missouri, I would still be not being in Illinois. They would just pick me up and keep me over there forever. So I would never. It's unlike I would ever see streets.
Okay, what would you tell a 21-year-old that just got 25 years to look forward to in prison?
And do something positive in prison, and a lot of the programs, stay out of all of the bullshit that goes on in this prison. And these prisons in Missouri, and I'm sure all over the country, man, stay out of the bullshit. Stay out of the gangs. Don't join a gang in the prisons, because it's a lot of, stay out of the gang. Just, always do something positive, man, and try to prepare yourself for society. Study, and when you finish studying, study again, and when you finish studying again, study again. Because you can't never learn everything, but you can just keep educating yourself. Mainly, get your education when you come in here if you don't already have it. And even once you got a GED or, still, they have programs in Missouri right now. They got the colleges actually in the prison, from St. Louis University, and they held college courses in prison and get degrees in prison now in Missouri. And they got a couple other colleges that just started programs in here. And it's so many things now compared to years ago when I come to prison that they have now that, to help people prepare for the society and to educate themselves now. It's almost unlimited of the type of education and intellect you can obtain now compared to how it was years ago. So you got to become better, become a better person so you can be productive citizen in society once you do get out. And you got to stay, focused, man, and just, there was a guy asked me, a close friend of mine, he just got out actually last week. He served 20 years. He served every day of the 20 years. But he kind of fucked up the whole 20 years, man, of his prison, stayed in all of the bullshit, man. And he set me down and asked me one question. I'm always innovating and pulling him out of shit all the way up to a few days before he went home. And I'm always pulling him out and say, no, get in your cell, man. He like sounded me. I said, get in your cell, man. Stay out of that. Get out of that. Every time something is going on, shit happening, he's the first one to jump out there.
Right.
When he set me down, we sat down, and he asked me he said if there was one thing, one word that I could give him that would help him in society, that he could take to the street that'll help him, he'd say, what would that word be? I had to think about it for a minute, and I say, the one word I can give you that'll help you in society is patience. Mm-hmm. I say, because you got to have patience, man. Everything you got coming, you're going to get it. If you have patience. A lot of us get out of prison and we want it real fast. We see guys in nice cars, jewelry, and that type of shit, clothes, and we want all of that as soon as we, get out. We want it all. And a lot of us, we don't have patience, so we lose any patience, and we just, man, I want all this tomorrow. And we go to what we know best, the streets. We know how to get it in the street, and that's what a lot of, especially black youths or young black dudes, even older black dudes, once they get out of this prison, that's the one thing that they don't have is patience. And they try to get everything that they feel they want or got coming, they want it yesterday. But all of that's coming to them if they just stay focused and have patience. You're going to get everything you got coming. And if you don't have patience, the first thing going to happen to you, you're going to end up back in hurt or dead. Because, we always go to what we familiar with. If we familiar with the streets, we know we can go out there and rob somebody and get some jewelry, some clothes, the new toys they got, and a car. We can go get all of that.
Right.
Tomorrow. Even though all of that stuff coming to us, but it's going to take some time. We don't want to put the time and patience in it. But we want it, and all this is going to end up right back in here, man.
Would you say a lot of people look up to you, man, in there?
Yeah, I do have. I mentor quite a few young dudes in prison, and I've been doing it for years. And try to educate dudes and mentor dudes in here, especially young dudes, because I have some nephews who, man, they ain't even been in the streets, and I constantly be on them. They ain't been to prison. I constantly be on them. Trying to discourage them from coming in these prisons. And So yeah, even in here, I mentor quite a few young dudes, man, and mainly the ones I focus on is young dudes.
Okay.
And trying to mentor them and discourage them from coming in this shit. And I also try to stay on them. When I see them in bullshit, I be on them. Man, that shit ain't working, man. Separate yourself from the bullshit. Because that's going to end up keeping you in prison, man, for longer than you have to be in her. Get out there to your family.
Right, that's what's up. Did part of you ever feel like you stopped being a human being in there, man?
No, I never ever felt like that. Never will. Because to start feeling like you no longer a human being, despite how bad these prison administrators treat us sometimes, to start feeling like that means you've been broken. And that's the one thing I never let these people do, is break me or take my mind and just, from me. I'm gonna always be strong, man. I'm gonna keep fighting to keep my mind and sanity in these prisons. They'll never break me. And that's why I so willingly accepted my situation and I embrace this shit.
Okay. When did you realize you wasn't the same person, man?
And I stopped staying in bullshit. And when I started separating myself from a lot of the mischief and chaos in these prayers, because I always been the person that not the bullshit on the left. I'm not going right. I'm going left. I'm going head first into the bullshit. I want to be right there in the middle of it, in the midst of it. And once I'm always going to lock up, administrative segregation, always, into the heart of the bullshit in the prison. But once I realized that, I done changed is when I stopped catching conduct violation reports, disciplinary reports. I stopped getting in a lot of bullshit and I started thinking before I react. That's when I really realized that I changed. When I started really thinking before I jump into situations or react in any type of situation. I didn't used to do no thinking. I just used to just jump out there. But now I analyze and think any situation before I even jump in it. So, I don't even catch. I ain't had a conduct violation report in 15 months. I done served all together a total of 36 calendar years I done served in these prisons in Missouri. And I done did probably at least 20 calendar years in lockup because I always was in the bullshit. I stay in the bullshit. But now, I've never went a whole year turned to violation free. And now I don't even catch violations. I don't be in no bullshit. If I see bullshit on the left, I go right. I stay separated from all of the problems and shit.
How do that make you feel, man? Like, I know that got to make you feel good to know that some shit can pop off and you could just, walk away from it other than what you used to do, go straight to it. So how did that make you feel, bro?
Yeah, I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of my growth because, I've changed for the better. I'm saying that I'm able to enjoy a lot of the incentives that I can enjoy out here in the general population, now because I don't be off in the shit, and, I don't never, people don't usually come to me with bullshit. I'm kind of one of the guys they kind of got a shield up where, I'm not just the guy that got a scope on them. I'm going to just come to Ray with some bullshit. I kind of got enough respect and, in the prison where I don't just, I'm not the person that people just bring bullshit to. So, I don't, and with that, I just be able to stay out of a lot of shit because I'm not going to create no problem.
What would you say prison taught you the fastest?
can't really say, man. I I don't really have an answer right off the top of my head for that one because I've learned a lot of things. I've been taught a lot of things, negative and positive things in prison. But I can't say which one was the fastest or which one was the slowest. But I would say that I learned how to think.
Right.
That's
what's up.
That's probably the most positive thing that I didn't been able to get out of this prison that in the process of me growing.
Okay. What does time in prison actually feel like? Do it feel like the time is going fast? Do it feel like the time going slow in there, or do it feel like the time just like frozen, like it's just stuck?
Or no, time is to me, time flies by so fast. Even when I did the 10 years before I got out of prison, before I came back on this prison, 10 years, it seemed like it was slow as I was going through the 10 years. But once I got to 10 years and I'm ready to go home, I look back and damn, it seemed like I've been locked up 5 years. And once I hit the streets, 2 weeks, I was right back in. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like I ever left. I was able to, acclimate back into society within a couple of weeks. And now this time I've been locked up now going on 27 years. And it seemed like it only been like maybe 10 years. So the time is flying by.
Yeah, I can definitely say the same, bro. Because time flies out here too, man. So I can just imagine how it is in there.
All my nieces and nephews, when I talk to them now, they was really little kids when I was out. Now I talk to them now, they in their 30s. They grown. It don't even seem like that it had been that long.
Right. What does society refuse to understand about inmates?
People in society, one thing I believe is that they think we have it easy because we don't have to pay no rent. We don't have to pay no bills. We get meals and everything is just given to us. That's one thing that, we don't have, ain't holding nothing free in the prison. I'm talking about it's very expensive in here. People don't understand that we don't have it made in here for us just being able to, live in here. We don't have no electric bills. We don't have no phone bills and all that. This motherfucker is expensive. That's one thing they don't understand. And then, we treated really bad in prison by administration. It's really hard in there.
Would you say sometimes in there it felt like you being targeted by the administration?
Yeah, it happens all the time. I just experienced that just 2 months ago. They came and locked me up. I didn't even know about YouTube or TikTok, and an inmate died and wrote the administration a note and said that me and another guy posted escape. We have a helicopter and all of this.
Wow.
They came and took that serious and locked me and the other guy up. A whole month while they investigated, and I didn't even. And that's when I found out about the TikTok, that all the stuff, this stuff that hit the internet about TikTok and YouTube, that I went viral and trending on TikTok. I didn't know nothing about this, but administration knew about it. And that's when I found out once they locked me up. I was locked up a whole month, and they targeted me and locked me up for a whole month. And I say, a helicopter? How the hell I'm gonna get a helicopter? I haven't even filed appeals trying to challenge my convictions. Now I'm trying to escape.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, that's crazy.
you know, and then I say a helicopter. I don't know no goddamn body with a helicopter. You know, and once they saw me, the investigators investigated, they saw that it was just some bullshit, and they let me back out.
Okay. All right. What's something that you lost, man, and nobody ever talks about?
Lost a lot of people in my family, a lot of close friends. I lost relationships. You know, that's a lot of things that some of the things that I've lost. You know, they don't. Nobody talks about that. You know.
Okay. What's the hardest thing to accept about how long you've been in prison, man?
It's nothing hard for me to accept because, like I said, I accepted the consequence of my actions, and I embrace this because I'm comfortable with knowing that nobody is serving no time with me as a result of shit that I did.
Right.
You know, even if there's people with me, nobody is serving any time with me. And, you know, I'm happily serving this time by myself. You know, serving time for everybody. You know, I would be happy with that. You know, and, you know, I don't, you know, I said I embrace this because I committed a crime and I was caught, and so I'm you know, I don't feel bad about none of this. I'm willing to. You catch me, you got me. Come on with whatever you coming with. I'm gonna serve my punishment.
What truth about you would surprise people the most?
That I'm really a good ass dude. You know, I'm really a good ass dude, a law dude, a real good dude. I'm not a monster as some people think I am. I'm not an evil person. I'm not just a dangerous person, you know, or a crazy person. I'm not none of those things. You know, I'm really a real good person with a good heart. I'm loyal to the core, you know, and I got a big heart, you know.
Okay.
That's some of the things that people probably wouldn't even think about me, you know. Some people probably just look at me as a cold-hearted killer, a cold-hearted dude, just a heartless dude. And none of them things are me.
Right. Okay. What kind of man do you want people to remember you as?
A law dude, a good dude, a person with a good heart, you know, a loving, you know, family-oriented person, you know, who, you know, just a real dude who, you know, stand on his shit, you know.
Would you ever? Now I know you say you haven't did it, but would you ever consider appealing some of your cases?
Well, not for the purpose of it's a waste of time for one, but not for the purpose I have been considering filing an appeal simply to get me a break from this prison shit and just get down to back to the city where I feel from so I can hang out, you know, at the Justice Center and, you know, see my family who keep and haven't came up to visit me in prison. You know, it's right downtown, so pretty sure I'll be able to make some build some relationships with my family and certain people in my family, you know, just those people I'll be able to see them. Let's go around where I can come and visit them basically, since they can't come and visit me. That would be the purpose of me filing an appeal, just so I can get back, sit down there for a hearing. Stay down there a couple of weeks, but you know, I would never attempt to waste my time trying to challenge my convictions because it would still always be the same outcome. I could never get his time back.
Okay. What part of your story do you feel like the media got wrong?
One thing, they labeled me a natural born killer, and probably 30 or 40 news articles. You know, the World newspaper, the Midnight Extra, the Crusader. They put that in the headline of all the news in St. Louis. You know, and natural born killer, convicted again, and all them type of, that was they, moniker that they put on me for all them articles. But that's one thing that they definitely got wrong. I'm not a natural born killer. I'm just a person who has to try to survive, or that you fuck with me and do something to me, I'm gonna do something back to you. Or like I said, it was situations where it was me or them. Well, I'm not just a natural born killer. Go out and just randomly just set out to kill people. That's a natural born killer. That's something I'm not.
Right. Okay.
So they definitely got that wrong about me.
All right, let's get into this book, man. What made you decide you wanted to write a book?
Because I wanted to tell my story, and my words, and not let somebody else tell my story, and I wanted to bring out a lot of facts and a lot of things that occurred in my case that nobody even know about. And, the real story about my life.
Right.
Something that, a lot of things that people don't even know about me that I reveal in this book, and a lot of things that people don't know about my case and circumstances that I will reveal in this book, and concerning all the people who were connected to be surrounding me,
Okay. What do you want the people to learn from your book?
I want them to learn that, exactly the person who I am, who I was then and who I am now, and, a lot of the things that I've been throughout my life, similar to a story of an autobiography about me and my life, and, just the real story about, how I was betrayed, how I was, crossed, betrayed, and just, let down.
Okay.
By people who was really close to me.
Okay. How do you decide which stories you want to tell and which stories you want to leave out?
I don't really leave nothing out.
Okay.
As you can really see by my initial interrogation. The only thing I'm not gonna do is identify nobody with me and no crimes. I take all this shit. Once you got me, come on with it. Just leave everybody else out. I'm who you know, leave everybody else out. Give me everything. And that's the type of person I am. So I don't, but at the same time, this shit ain't scripted. I'm putting out here with you is what I put out there in the interrogation tape. And every interview that we do, any interviews that I do, anything I say, this shit not scripted. I'm coming right off the top of my head and I'm giving it to you in the raw. And, I don't, there's no pick and choose what stories I'm telling, what stories I'm not telling. I'm basically, about me, I put it all out there.
Is there a time frame you want to have the book done by?
Yeah, I plan on, that was one of my New Year's resolutions, to start back working out, because I just fell off of working out, start back working out, and to start back on and complete my book. I already started the initial part of my book. And, I had started it years ago, 20 years ago, and they when they transferred me to Illinois, they lost the part of my manuscript that I had started, and I just never got back into it. But now I'm taking it really serious now and ready to start and plan on complete my book before the year is out. It's like I was just on the phone a few days ago talking to a really close friend of mine who I grew up with, been knowing for 40 years, since over 40 years since we were little kids. He just released 3 books. His name Christopher Dunn, and he just released 3 books. And he's a real close friend of mine. And when we was talking about some organizations that he want to link me up with, some foundations. You know, he just got out of prison, and he's still challenging his conviction, because despite the actual innocence, in his case is overwhelming. They still want to try to put him back in prison. You know, and he just released 3 books, and he tied in with a lot of different organizations, mentoring youth and all of that. And that's what I'm trying to do now, is build a platform so he can aid me in trying to mentor youth and discuss recidivism, prison reform, and quite a few other things that I'm in the process of putting together now to try to put on my platform that I'm trying to build up. You know, and that's why I've been trying to build my TikTok page up so I can start putting out, you know, I got a lot of different angles that I'm focused on. Mainly things to help youths and try to keep them out of this prison and shit, and discourage them from coming out here and giving them other options that they can pursue out there, and avenues that they can pursue to try to just, you know, better themselves and become productive citizens in society and advance in life, you know, instead of just going out into the streets doing the same type of shit that I did and ended up in these type of situations. My main focus is the youth, because, you know, I have a lot of nieces and nephews that I really would hate to see them coming through what I've been through.
Right, that's understandable. Okay, one last question about the book, man. Have you came up with a name for the book yet?
I got a couple names that you know, I was thinking years ago, you know, that I was anticipating calling the book, but, you know, I won't discuss the name because, you know, until I actually be ready to have a book copywritten and published. The book is going to be very interesting, man, and a lot of people going to really love hearing this story. You think that's what you know, that's what I'm really working on right now. I'm gonna say this because this is the one thing that still hurts me more than anything, is, you know, how long I was to a dude who I felt was my brother, and, you know, he betrayed me, you know, and basically kept them people put me in here. I would say that, you know, when a person, it's a quote by Maya Angelou also, you know, when a person show you who they are, believe them. You know, I don't care how close you can be to a person, you know, friend, brother, whoever. If they show you one sign of disloyalty or snakeism or, you know, distrust or any of that nature, man, don't think, man, you a dirty dude, but, you know, I don't never think that they wouldn't get you. Right. But a lot of us will be blind to that, and I was blind to it. That, yeah, but you know, you a dirty dude, but I know you wouldn't get me because you my brother. You know, I know you wouldn't get me because I know you got a lot of love for me. Don't never let that blind you. And a lot of times that blinds people in society, and even in this prison. Never think that that person won't do you the same way that they did somebody else. If you see them do some dirty shit, you know, get as far away from that person as you can. Often think back to how loyal I was to this dude. It's like my brother was one of the closest people to me in the world, and I often, you know, trip on him like, how could he do me like this?
Right.
but and I always think about that quote, man, and I saw all the signs, and I saw how foul he was, how he was moving, but I was always blinded to the fact that, but I know he wouldn't get me.
Right.
And I was watching everybody else, but not him. And that was the one person I should have been watching, because he the one who sold me out. So you got to always be conscious of your surroundings, man, and be conscious and aware of the type of people that you trust.
What do you wish you understood at the moment everything went wrong?
A lot of people didn't know. I knew that he was setting me up hours before he set me up. And that's one thing that, I knew this before the police even raided my house. But I didn't want to believe it.
Right.
I was given the warnings, it was right there. He in so many words, I was told that the people coming, and he just sold me out. But I didn't want to believe that. Okay. That's the one thing that very few people know about.
Right. Okay, we got one last question, man. When you think about how long you've been in prison, what's the first feeling that comes up?
Time flies by. Damn, it's been years I've been gone. Unbelievable that I've been gone this many years. Right now, like I said, it's still hard to believe that I've been gone 27 years and it seemed like 5.
Right.
But a lot of reasons why the time flies so fast and it seems like it's just been 5 years compared to 27 years is because I stay connected to the streets. Maybe if I wasn't so connected to the streets and people in society and, I probably would be feeling every day of these 27 years. And it probably would have been a lot harder emotionally and mentally on me than it had been. If I don't keep smiling and thinking about my situation, not thinking about my situation, I probably would be crying in this motherfucker and just sad and deteriorating mentally in her.
Right.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, man, we can do something live, man, instead of just an audio interview, man. Hopefully, man, I can, real soul, man. Well, I'm expecting it to be real soul, man. You set it up, man, where, I can be, at least my face in real time visual interview that we can do, man, real soul, man. And that's what I'm looking forward to, man, because I really want the people in the distance hearing from me. I want people to look me in my eyes and see, me and the type of person that I am now, so they can really, relate to me more.
Right.
And just, because it's, that's a whole lot different than just hearing a voice. All right, man. Keep your head up, man. We've been over here almost an hour, man. This time flew by.
Facts. It did seem like it went fast. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it don't seem like no 15 minutes. We've been over almost 50 minutes.
Yeah, 45.
Man, it's good. It's always good to talk to you, man. And I know you gonna put it out there in the raw, man. Just how I gave it to the people, man. And I'm happy, man, that you gave me this opportunity, man, to really put everything out there on the table, man, so people can see my growth from now. How I'm grown now compared to the person that they saw 26 years ago. I'm just a different person. All right, man, you keep your head up, DP, man. Like I said, I appreciate it again, man. You allowed me on this platform, man, to tell my story, man, and so I can line everything up, man, so when the book drop, people actually really know who I am if they ain't already know. Right. So they can get that read, because it's definitely going to be a nice read for the people to view.
Facts. All right, man. I'm gonna get up with you, big dog, man, and you stay safe in there, bro.
All right, you too. All
I
right,
bet.
bye.
The caller has hung up.